CEO and founder of IoT Marketing, Johannes Beekman. How are you today, Johannes?
I'm doing great, Tiffany. How are you today?
Fantastic. And as we get started, I'd like to remind everyone watching that we have our annual Summit of Things event coming up in October. And this is our biggest virtual event of the year with 3 days of content centered around IoT, AI, and other emerging technologies. And we still have opportunities available for speaking, sponsorship, and advertising. So be sure to reach out to us if you'd like to get involved. And we also have free early bird passes available. And you can get yours to attend now at iotmktg.com. And for our first story, Sudskiver strikes AI gold with billion-dollar backing for superintelligent AI. Reuters recently reported that Safe Superintelligence, or SSI, a new AI startup co-founded by OpenAI's former chief scientist, Ilya Sudskiver, has raised $1 billion in funding. And the 3-month-old company plans to focus on developing what it calls safe AI systems that surpass human capabilities. And the fundraising effort shows that even amid growing skepticism around massive investments in AI that so far have failed to be profitable, some backers are still willing to place large bets on high-profile talent in foundational AI research. And I'm not sure the world is really ready for a superintelligence, but what are your thoughts on this story, Johannes?
Well, of course, the recent news about Ilya Sutskever's new AI startup, as you mentioned, SSI or Safe Superintelligent, it obviously has received a lot of attention, Tiffany, because as we all know, Sutskever, who co-founded OpenAI and served as its chief scientist, he reeled in $1 billion for a 3-month-old startup. Now, what the company tries to do is they aim to develop safe AI systems that surpass human capabilities with a focus on AI safety to mitigate potential risks associated with superintelligent AI. But there's a background to this, and it's in line what Ilya has been doing at OpenAI already. So Suskever left OpenAI following internal conflicts over the direction of AI development and safety protocols. So he has expressed a desire to approach AI scaling differently with SSI, emphasizing the importance of safety and alignment with human values. The company plans to use the funds to acquire computing power and hire top talent with a focus on building a small, trusted team of researchers and engineers. The concept of super intelligent AI systems with capabilities beyond human intelligence, is a topic of considerable debate. And while some experts argue that super intelligent AI could pose existential risks, others believe it could be beneficial if developed and controlled properly. And such an initiative at SSI is part of a broader effort to ensure that AI systems act in humanity's interest and prioritize safety. Such Ilya has released several videos on YouTube, and you can look them up. And in one of them, he emphasizes how much progress, from his perspective, AI models have made in the recent years. And I totally agree with that. There's been a lot of progress over the past 2 years. To underscore this point, at a September 4 meeting in Japan, OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman unveiled details about GPT Next, which is a new AI model reportedly 100 times more powerful than the current model GPT 4o, which will be released in stages over the next 6 months. I don't think, and I think they have to do it within the next 6 months because I don't think they can afford to wait any longer. And if AI models continue to develop at this pace, AGI or artificial general intelligence will arrive sooner rather than later, not universally, but in specific areas. And it could solve fundamental issues that we are currently grappling with. And to use an example that Ilya mentioned in a TED talk, so imagine, for example, an AGI trained to be a medical doctor, possessing exhaustive knowledge of all medical literature and billions of hours of clinical experience. And that AGI would be available around the clock at an affordable cost. Such an AGI would literally revolutionize healthcare. And to circle back to your question, Tiffany, is the world ready? The answer, of course, is yes and no. While a medical AGI would need to adhere to the Hippocratic Oath, the world is ready for such a development. Parents would undoubtedly appreciate having a doctor available 24/7. However, the adoption of other AGI applications will likely take more time as there will be concerns that must be addressed before they can be activated. So the development of safe AI systems will be crucial. So, and this is the essence of Sutskever's new venture, balancing the potential benefits of AGI models he understands will significantly impact society, with the need for robust safety measures to prevent unintended consequences.
And Johannes, given your background in semiconductors, what are your thoughts on the new carbon nanotube AI chip?
Well, carbon nanotube-based semiconductors hold great promise, Tiffany, and that's due to their unique properties such as high electromobility, flexibility, and scalability. However, several challenges remain associated with their use in semiconductor technology, such as the manufacturing complexity. CNTs must be produced with high purity and uniformity to be effective in semiconductors. Current production methods often yield a mix of metallic and semiconducting. Well, carbon nanotube-based semiconductors hold great promise due to their unique properties such as you mentioned, high electron mobility, flexibility, and scalability. However, several challenges remain associated with their use in semiconductor technology. One of the challenges is the manufacturing complexity. CNTs must be produced with high purity and uniformity to be effective in semiconductors. Current production methods often yield a mix of metallic and semiconductor CNTs, making it difficult to achieve consistent performance across devices. The next challenge is defects and imperfections. CNTs are highly sensitive to structural defects, which can significantly affect their electrical properties. Even minor defects can impede their performance, making the material less reliable than traditional silicon-based semiconductors. The next challenge is the integration with existing technology. While CNTs possess superior properties, integrating them into existing semiconductor manufacturing processes remains a significant challenge. Current technology is built around silicon, and transitioning to CNT-based devices would require retooling, developing new tools, and redesigning large portions of the semiconductor fabrication ecosystem. The next one, and that's always a big issue in semiconductor, the cost. The cost of producing high quality CNTs remains high, particularly due to the need for precise control over the structure and the complexity of separating metallic from semiconducting types. This cost barrier limits their widespread adoption in commercial applications. Significant research has been conducted by institutions like the MIT to overcome these challenges, and in 2019, MIT created a 16-bit microprocessor using CNT technology, but that work was discontinued during the pandemic. And according to the article that you found, Tiffany, the Peking University in Beijing continued advancing CNT semiconductors and demonstrated a carbon nanotube based tensor processing unit using a 3 micron process. The latest Apple CPU for the iPhone 16, the A18 series processor, will be built on TSMC's 3 nanometer process. To put this in perspective, 3 microns is 3000 nanometers. And to look at it from a different angle, I was part of a semiconductor process development team in the early 90s, and the processes that we were developing were in the 1 to 3 micrometer range. So while the benefits of CNT-based semiconductors are well known and continue to be demonstrated using older processes, we have yet to bring them into mass production due to the significant manufacturing challenges.
Thank you, Johannes. And for our next story, SoftBank calls off Intel AI chip partnership talks. Intel has reportedly struggled to meet SoftBank's production volume and speed. SoftBank has ended discussions with Intel about designing an artificial intelligence chip that will rival those released by NVIDIA. SoftBank sought a partnership with Intel to help it achieve a leadership position in the AI space, but the US chipmaker has reportedly struggled to meet the Japanese company's production volume and speed requirements. And it remains unclear what SoftBank's next move will be and how much this decision marks a shift in its strategy or simply a loss of faith in Intel as a partner. It's true that the company has experienced some recent setbacks, particularly around AI. A recent SEC filing, for instance, revealed that Intel sold its stake in British chip firm ARM Holdings in Q2. And this news hits the stands amid the massive job cuts taking place at the company. In conjunction, these developments have signaled for many that a larger shakeup is underway at Intel. So, Johannes, what do you think of SoftBank calling off the partnership talks with Intel?
So um, let me take a step back, Tiffany, because there's something missing in the story. So, and we've talked about SoftBank before, one of the previous newscasts. So SoftBank wants to enter the AI chip business. They have a lot of money, which is great because they'll need it. But they also need a manufacturing partner. And this is where it gets complicated. Only three companies have the manufacturing capability and capacity to produce AI chips in volume using cutting edge 3 nanometer technology: Intel, TSMC, and Samsung. However, there's still one critical piece missing, which is the chip itself. If SoftBank wants to compete with NVIDIA, they need to have a chip that can go head to head with NVIDIA's Hopper and Blackwell chips. So to address this, SoftBank acquired the British chip designer Graphcore in July. And one of Graphcore's designs is the GC200 IPU processor, which is a massively parallel processor for the AI chip market that aims to compete with NVIDIA's GPUs. And it's currently being produced in TSMC's 7 nanometer process, which is a slightly older generation, but still close to the current cutting edge 3 nanometer process. And this is the final piece in the puzzle. As you mentioned, Intel was SoftBank's first choice for a manufacturing partner, but Intel currently is going through a restructuring. SoftBank has an AI chip that runs on a TSMC process. So the next step, SoftBank needs to talk to TSMC. So this story will be continued, and I think they'll end up at TSMC.
Thank you very much, Johannes. And our next story is about RoboSlime, or shape-shifting slime robots that are learning to reach, kick, dig, and catch. Formless slime robots that shape change to complete complex tasks may sound like science fantasy. However, MIT researchers have developed a machine learning technique that brings shape changing soft robots a step closer to reality. And the concept of shape changing robots was introduced to the world in 1991 with the T 1000, featured in the cult movie Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And since then, if not before, many scientists have dreamed of creating a robot with the ability to change its shape to perform diverse tasks. The researchers had to devise a way of controlling a slime robot that doesn't have arms, legs, or fingers, or indeed any sort of skeleton for its muscles to push and pull against, or indeed any set location for any of its muscle actuators. A form so formless and a system so endlessly dynamic that the challenge becomes, how on earth are you supposed to program such a robot's movements? And clearly, any kind of standard control scheme would be useless in this scenario. So the team turned to AI, leveraging its immense capability to deal with complex data, and they developed a control algorithm that learns how to move, stretch, and shape said blobby robot, sometimes multiple times, to complete a particular task. And things are looking a bit more like sci-fi all the time, if you ask me, Johannes. But Johannes, what do you feel this creation could? Do you feel that this creation could create future problems similar to what we saw in the Terminator movies, or do you feel that there's actually a market looking for a solution like RoboSlime?
Well, first off, and I'm really glad that you brought up the T1000, Tiffany, because the T1000 is awesome and extremely lethal, as we've seen in the movies. And I should add, also infamous for its self-repair and shape-shifting capabilities. But slime robots are no T1000. They are being developed to solve real-world problems. And let me take a step back. Slime stands for soft, lightweight, and modifiable, and a slime robot is a flexible, often small-scale robot designed with highly adaptive and deformable materials. So these robots typically incorporate soft stretchable, and even liquid-like components that allow them to navigate complex environments, squeeze through narrow spaces, and change shape based on the task's or surrounding conditions. Slime robots often draw inspiration from natural organisms such as slugs, worms, or octopuses, which exhibit similar adaptability. These robots are typically developed for tasks that are difficult or dangerous for humans or even conventional robots, such as search and rescue operations, medical procedures, or exploration of hard to reach areas. Their lightweight and modifiable nature makes them ideal for navigating unpredictable or delicate environments where precision and adaptability are key. Let me give a few examples of the slime robot's capabilities, and here are some, actually several, promising use cases. So first of all, search and rescue, as you mentioned before. So in post-disaster scenarios such as earthquakes or building collapses, slime robots can navigate through rubble, tight spaces, and hazardous conditions to search for survivors. Medical applications, slime robots can be used in minimally invasive surgeries. Their soft bodies enable them to move through the human body's complex anatomy, such as blood vessels or the digestive system, without causing damage. And the benefit of this application is that they can perform tasks like delivering drugs to specific sites, removing blockages, or even repairing tissues, thus reducing recovery times and surgical risk compared to traditional invasive medical methods. Environmental monitoring, slime robots can be deployed to monitor ecosystems, particularly in hard to reach locations like caves, crevices, or underwater environments. And then pipeline inspection and maintenance is another application that keeps being mentioned. Slime robots can crawl through narrow pipelines to inspect for leaks, blockages, or corrosions. They are particularly useful in industries like oil, gas, and water supply, where pipelines are long, narrow, and difficult to inspect regularly. And obviously, if we do it in pipelines, we can also use them in construction and infrastructure maintenance. In construction, slime robots could assist in inspecting or maintaining hard to reach areas such as behind walls, inside foundations, or within large structural components. These could also be used to apply coatings, seal cracks, or install cables in confined spaces. So you get a picture, Tiffany. It's confined spaces, hard to get to, and these are just a few examples. So slime robots, with their versatility and flexibility, have the potential to revolutionize industries where delicate, adaptive, and precise maneuvers are essential. And these are very down-to-earth applications, Tiffany, and while slime robots are awesome too, they are nowhere near the awesomeness of a T1000.
Wow, Johannes, those are some great use cases. I mean, I can't even question the Robo Slime. If at one point I may need it to do something medically, that's insane. So thank you so much for that, Johannes. And as a part of larger cost-cutting efforts, Swedish vendor Ericsson has agreed to sell US-based subsidiary iConnective to Koch Quick Equity Development for $1 billion. dollars. And Ericsson acquired iConnective in 2012 as part of its acquisition of American telecommunication research and development company Telcordia. And the subsidiary is currently part of Ericsson's segment enterprise unit. And in 2023, it contributed roughly SEK 1 billion to the company's net income. And according to a press statement, iConnective serves more than 5,000 customers across various sectors, providing a number of portability solutions, core network and operations management, and numbering and data exchange services. And the sale is expected to close in H1 of 2025. And Ericsson also said that it anticipates booking a one-off EBIT gain of around SEK 8.8 billion, and profits from the sale will go towards the settlement of taxes, transaction expenses, and other obligations. And Johannes, we've seen many mergers and acquisitions, but is there anything that catches your attention about the sale of iConnective?
Well, first off, Tiffany, the IoT industry is mature, so we should expect this kind of reshuffling. And I checked the recent press release from Ericsson, and what stood out to me was that it actually was very brief. This suggests that business as usual with no need for a detailed explanation. Second, as you mentioned, it does mark as a major divestment by Ericsson, potentially as part of broader cost-cutting measures. And third, Ericsson's acquisition of Econnective in 2020 through Telcordia positioned the subsidiary within its segment enterprise unit. However, the sale indicates a strategic shift as Ericsson reallocates resources. Finally, and you mentioned it already, the one-off EBIT gain of SEK 8.8 bill from the sale, along with its timing, which is H1 2025, points to also strategic financial planning.
Thanks, Johannes. And for our last story, Qualcomm has announced the signing of a definitive agreement to acquire 4G Internet of Things IoT technology from Sequans Communications. And the acquisition includes certain employees, assets, and licenses, although financial terms have not been disclosed. Sequans specializes in designing, developing, and supplying semiconductor solutions for cellular applications in large-scale and critical IoT markets. And under the agreement terms, Sequans will retain the right to use the technology commercially through a perpetual licensing agreement. And according to Yahoo Finance, this will support Sequans' expansion of its 4G business and the development of its 5G portfolio, while maintaining full ownership of its 5G technology. And the transaction is currently pending customary closing conditions, including approval from the French regulatory authorities. With all the attention on 5G, why do you feel that Qualcomm is so interested in Sequans' 4G IoT technology, Johannes?
Well, soon, Tiffany, we'll be living in a 5G world, and 4G will become obsolete. To clarify, 4G chipsets will become obsolete, but not the design library, the IP, and the licenses. The design and the library can be reused for a 5G chipset. So what's interesting in this press release is that Qualcomm states that this will strengthen Qualcomm's industrial IoT portfolio, and Sequans states that they will retain full rights to continue to use their technology commercially via a perpetual license agreement, supporting the company's ability to expand its 4G business and develop its 5G portfolio. The press release also states that the acquisition includes certain employees, assets, and licenses. So part of the design team will also transfer to Qualcomm. So to summarize, this is for Qualcomm obviously a portfolio play. Qualcomm is expanding its industrial IoT product portfolio. It's also an IP play. Qualcomm is expanding its IP portfolio. And third, this is also a design play. Qualcomm is expanding its IoT design capability.
Thanks, Johannes. And that wraps up our news for today. But before we go, we'd like to remind you to register for your free early bird pass for the Summit of Things taking place virtually October 22nd to the 24th, brought to you by IoT Marketing and Industry Insights webinars. And you will not want to miss out on this incredible event to hear from dozens of speakers on the latest tech trends and considerations for businesses embarking on their digital transformation journey. And also, this is the final call for nominations for your favorite person, business, or IoT solution for our annual Industry Insights IoT Awards taking place on December 12th. And you can register now to attend the live event and nominate now at iotmktg.com. Nominations will end on September 20th, so act now. And on the horizon, we have the 2025 Emerging Trends webinar, which will take place in January of 2025. So if you're interested in participating in any of these events, please reach out to us and, of course, register for all of the events on our website, iotmktg.com. And lastly, we want to remind you that IoT Marketing also offers end-to-end marketing, production, and PR services. And we would love to assist you with any aspect of your marketing efforts, especially with 2025 marketing plans being formed right now, and the new year is right around the corner. Anything to add, Johannes?
Well, we already have a great speaker lineup for the Summer of Things in October, Tiffany, and we're still adding speakers. But there are still a few spots left, so anybody who's interested, please reach out, and we'd love to have a discussion. But I'm so looking forward to this year's Summer of Things, Tiffany. It's going to be a fantastic event.
Agreed. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great day. Thank you as well, Johannes, for being such an incredible co-host.
Thank you, Tiffany. Have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.